Hello and welcome to today's video on nutrition. Now, nutrition is at the heart of our health and well-being, and it is key that I point out our food is so much more than just energy or fats, proteins and carbs. Our food actually gives our cells information which is used to dictate various mechanisms within it, and this is known as epigenetics, as I highlighted in my last video. So make sure you do your research and check it out. Now, in addition to this, every year, every cell in our body is completely replaced and renewed. Now, every 3 days we have a new stomach lining, and every 3 to 12 weeks we have a new skin, a totally brand new skin. So the question I'm going to put forward to you is, what quality of food are we using to replace these cells with? And what information is the food providing us with? As the health of our cells can only be as healthy as the food that we eat. Now, this brings me on to my first point, where we need to be eating organic or biodynamic whole food. So you hear that, you might think it's really expensive and really not worthwhile, but studies have shown that the information in organic and biodynamic food is a lot healthier and coherent, and the nutrient density of macro and micronutrients is a lot higher compared to standard commercial food. So you're getting more for your money. Now, there's loads of studies out there. Please do your research. There's studies into nutritional values, chemical and pesticide residues, and toxicity of organic and commercially raised food or grown food, and their comparison. So do your research and check it out. Now, this leads us on to our next point of toxicity in our food. Now, if our livers are very stressed or have a lot of toxins running through them and it's struggling to process it, a little mechanism occurs where our bodies will store the toxin in a fat cell and let your liver come back to it later. So we actually accumulate fat as a protection method to keep ourselves in more balance and homeostasis. So that niggly bit of fat that you don't think you can shift might be due to that. But it's also good to note that any animals or flesh food that we're eating, if they're not raised organically as well, they're going to hold toxins in their fat, we're then eating that, and it becomes a vicious cycle. Now, an experiment that you can do at home, and I'd love it if you could do it, is to get a standard chicken and then an organic free-range chicken and rip the legs off, rip the wings off, and just note how much more robust and structurally sound the organic chicken's cartilage, bones, ligaments, tendons is in comparison to the normal chicken. And just note to yourselves that the exact same is happening within our bodies. So it's key we go organic. Now, if you can't go fully organic, you need to prioritize organic flesh food and animals, and then free range over veg and fruit, as flesh food is a lot more complex and holds a lot more information and toxins as it's a bioaccumulator. So that's something to note. Now, I use my money as a vote every time I use it, and I vote for local organic farmers. So I go to Sheffield Organic Growers. They're local to me, got some great produce. The great bunch of people that work both organically and biodynamically, and they're working with the land, not against it. So they're really protecting Mother Nature and the ecosystem and just helping it function as it should. So brownie points there as well. So use your money to vote. Locally is best. You can also order it online to be delivered to your house if you're struggling to go and get it or get it delivered, or if there's no one local. Check it out. I'll leave some links in the description. Now, the next point I'm going to highlight is the fact that we need to be eating for our body types. So studies have shown that there's over 19 different types of stomach shapes, sizes, intestinal length and width, and this predisposes us to how much plant food and flesh food that we can digest and absorb and have a harmonious digestive system and function optimally. Now, this is based on what our ancestors, where they came from and what types of food they ate and how we evolved. So this is known as metabolic typing, and it's at the heart of our health and lifestyle coaching program. So if you're interested in this, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description, but we need to be eating for our body type. The next point is our omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Now, a lot of us know about omega-3s and the benefits of it on our cell membrane function, our endocrine function, our nervous system, our brain, the list is endless. However, it's not good enough just to be taking on omega-3s. We have to look at our actual ratio. So a healthy omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is around 1 to 4. Most people on a Western diet where there's a lot of grains and processed foods, it's more like 1 to 50. So there's a huge imbalance there that creates a whole host of problems. Ways to combat this: grass-fed meat and pasture-raised meat is key, a lot higher in omega-3s. Seed oils like hemp and olive oil is a lot healthier. Various nuts and then various greens as well. Do your research, but make sure we're having a good balance of it and not overindulging in the unhealthy omega-6s. Oily fish and omega-3 supplements are great as well. However, you need to make sure it's not from a farm fish source, as a toxicity and the information from there is totally not what we want. So that's the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. The next point we're going to bring on is raw food. Now, raw food is essential for a healthy microbiome, and it's our microbiome or enzymes within our digestive system that allows us to digest and absorb foods efficiently. Now, most people have a complete enzyme deficiency by the time they're 35, so it's important that we're taking on raw food to feed this microbiome. If you're eating a lot of processed food, refined food and pasteurized food, milk, cheeses, fruit juice, a lot of people forget about that one, but this is all the enzyme profiling. It's completely dead. So you think it's healthy, but it's completely dead. So we need to be having a lot more raw food in our diet. Ideally, we're going to aim for 50% cooked, 50% raw, but this is hard to work up to, and some people will struggle with it as they might not be able to digest the optimal amount of plant protein. So starting out with 5% and working up to that is a great way to do it. Now, the next tip is slow cooked food. It is a great way to save time in the kitchen and cook some great meals that you can just wake up to or come home from work with. And not only that, when you slow cook a chicken or some meat, it breaks down all the, especially on the bone, it breaks down all the micronutrients in the bone and the bone marrow and the ligaments and tendons, and that is really healthy. I can't stress to you how healthy that is for our body to take on these nutrients that we're missing out on in the Western diet. It also helps to break down plant food, as most people do struggle to break down plant fibre, so that's a key thing to note. You can also make gorgeous bone broths, which provide, as I said, the optimum nutritions that we're missing from the other aspects of the carcass, from the bones. You can either put organ meats in there as well. It's really good to get that in, and some great micronutrients. I've got another tip on there, but I've not wrote it on there, but I've got one for you, is chewing your food. Now, most people forget that digestion starts in the mouth and not in the stomach. So make sure you're chewing your food at least 20 to 30 times, and it will really help keep your digestive system working optimally, not overloading it and causing stress, and we can absorb the nutrients that we need efficiently and not create dysfunction within our gut, which then goes out and creates dysfunction everywhere else. Now, just changing one of them tips will be a massive benefit. If you do end up changing all of them and really working hard and going great, we then implement the 80-20 rule. This gives us a bit of leeway, as if we're eating 80% of the time healthy organic meats and veg and doing the right things, then our body's in a state of health where we can deal with the toxicity from 20% of the food we're taking in. So in essence, we can eat 80% of the time and then enjoy ourselves with a bit of cake and a bit of chocolate every now and again. So they're the key facts that I'm going to give you, and I just want to highlight that voting with your money for local farmers is the way to go. And remember, when you're out shopping, be very conscious. If you had a sports car on the drive, or I see a lot of people with normal cars just putting premium fuel in, and wasting money, just think that our bodies work on they're much more complex and they're a lot more fine-tuned than any car or any engine on the planet. So let's put the best fuel in it and invest in our health. Next video is hydration, so I look forward to seeing you.